Hi viewers, welcome to Commerce Success channel. In this video, we will be discussing on the methods of costing. The second category, operation costing. What is operation costing? Operation costing is applied to those industries where there are standardized products being produced through a continuous sequence of operations. Process costing, operating costing, operation costing, unit costing, these methods come under the category of operation costing. We will see in detail each of these. First we will see what is process costing. Process costing is normally applied in those industries where the finished product is coming through a lot of processes. Several processes will be there before the final product is manufactured. So, process costing, you will have several processes, and for example, you start with process 1, you have 100 units of input. Now, after the processing of the first process, you may get say 80 units of output. Now, this 80 units of output becomes the input of the second process. So, the processes are a continuous sequence. So, in the second process, the output of the first process becomes the input for the second process. In the second process, you may have an output of say 60 units of output. Now, the 60 units becomes the input for the third process. So, similarly, it goes on till the last process. Say the finished product may be 20 units. So, you started with 100 units of input in the first process. In the last process, you have say 20 units of finished product. Now, this finished product is the stock for the firm. So, this is process costing. So, what will happen? In each process, you may have some normal losses. Sometimes, you may have even abnormal losses or even abnormal gains. So, this is also included in the costing for each process. So, each process, the cost will be calculated, and sometimes you will have scrap which will be sold, which will be the output of that process, and that may be sold as a scrap. So, that also will be calculated while doing the costing for each process. The last process will have the final profit because it will show the finished product which is being sold to the market. So, this is process costing. Now, the next one is the operating costing. Those industries where the output is service rendered and not goods, it is operating costing. So, for example, you may take transport servicing companies, hospitals, cinema theatres, all those industries where the output is a service, this operating costing is applied. Next, operation costing. In operation costing, you will find out it is very similar to process costing. In the operation costing, you will find that those industries where there are several processes and there are several operations. Okay, so the operation will have a cost calculation. Okay, so every operation will be having a cost calculation, and the costs are more accurate in operation costing. The next one is the unit costing. It is also called as output costing. This unit costing is applicable in those industries where the output is uniform and it is a continuous production. So, what will happen? How will you calculate the cost? The cost per unit will be calculated like this: total cost by number of units produced for that particular period of production. Okay, so this is about unit costing. Next, we will see multiple costing. It is very simple. If you follow any of the methods of costing, if you follow a single method, it is the job costing or batch costing or contract costing. Suppose you have a combination of the methods. Okay, you have job costing, you also have batch costing. Okay, you have unit costing also. So, in those cases, multiple costing will be applied. So, it's nothing but a combination of one or two methods. Next, we will see activity based costing. It is also called as ABC costing. Kaplan and Cooper developed this approach to costing. They believed that costs are classified into two main categories: short-term variable cost, long-term variable cost. So, in this approach, costs are normally assigned to activities. Activities are the cost drivers. What it means is, the activities are the main factors for incurring certain cost. So certain activities are common to certain products. So what will happen in the final stage? The products will absorb the cost based on the usage of these activities. So this is activity based costing. Okay, I'll just summarize what we learned. Operation costing, process costing, operating costing, operation costing, unit costing, all these costings come under the category of operation costing. What is process costing? It will have several processes, and first process, it will be a continuous sequence. The first process output will be the input for the second process, and it goes on and goes. There will be normal losses. There may be scrap also. There are chances of abnormal losses and abnormal gains in the process. For each process, cost will be calculated. And in the final process, you will be able to find out the profit or loss for the finished product. The finished product may be sold, and based on that, you will be able to find out the profit or loss. What is operating costing? It is applicable to service industries like transport, cinemas, hotels, hospitals. In all these industries, you will be finding operating costing being applied. Next one is the operation costing. Operation costing is very similar to process costing. Only thing is, instead of the word process, operation is used. There are a lot of processes in that operation. So each operation will have, you will be calculating the cost for each operation, and the costs are more accurate in operation costing. Then in unit costing, it is also called as output costing, where the output is uniform and there is a continuous production. You will be able to find out the cost per unit based on the formula total cost divided by number of units produced in that particular period of production. Then we saw multiple costing. It is nothing but a combination of more than 2 or 3 methods. What is activity based costing? It is developed by Kaplan and Cooper. It is also called as ABC costing. Mainly the costs are assigned to the activities, and the products absorb the cost based on the usage of these activities. So this is the operation costing, and we saw multiple costing and activity based costing. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe for more videos. Thank you viewers. See you in the next video.